if you talk about what is the mantra for success for anybody who's pursuing law, I guess you have to continuously keep on reading, be updated about the judgments and everything. That really helps you through it.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Expert Tribe. Today we have amongst us Mr. Harshit Batra. He's an advocate and a RERA consultant. He holds an LLM in alternate dispute resolution. His expertise includes RERA, dispute resolution, and criminal laws. So, all the law aspirants out there, just immerse yourself in this podcast.
Hi Harshit, welcome on the show.
Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. And it is a pleasure to be connected here. And of course, I have seen all the videos that you are bringing to your channel. I hope that my video turns out to be an add-on for people who want to pursue law or career in law.
डेफिनेटली मैंने आपकी बातें सुनी है, आपसे बातों से सीखा हुआ है. मुझे पता है कि ये वीडियो ना डेफिनेटली लॉ एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए बहुत सक्सेसफुल होने वाली है.
So,
मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन आपसे है कि आपने कैसे डिसाइड किया कि आप लॉयर बनना चाहते हो?
so this started because of my grandfather, because he retired as an ACP from Delhi Police, and then he started his own practice. So he had done his law. So we had that law library at our place. So when you see that what your elders are doing, so I used to see him reading books. So I was always interested that to see what he's reading, because in school we were understanding things and reading stuff. So as and when I started reading the books he was reading, I got pretty much interested. So initially I took some of the cases as stories. Some I tried to trace some logical background. And then I used to feel that, people are coming, taking just his advices, and they respect him, and it is such a dignified profession that I think I should go for it. So my interest basically started by reading those law books which were already there at my place. And by the interaction, so, my place was open for people to come and take advices. When people know that somebody in your, somebody is practicing law, so people come to me now for taking advices. So all those days when people were coming to my grandfather to take advices, so they used to take my grandfather's help. They used to quote their problem, and he used to give them the solution. So that fascinated me, that I also want to be the same person, that people are coming up to me, they are telling me that they have a certain problem, and I just solve it. So that fascinated me, that yes, if somebody comes up to me with a problem and I solve it. So that's how that charm for law began for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting. तो लॉयर बनने का प्रोसीजर क्या होता है, एंड एक्ट के लिए लोग प्रिपेयर कैसे करते हैं?
So there are two types of courses. One is a 3-year law, which is done after graduation, and the other is a 5-year integrated law, which is BA-LLB or BBA-LLB or BTech LLB. That is an integrated course in which your graduation is also there and your LLB is also there. So the most common exam that people give is CLAT. So initially with CLAT, only NLUs used to take selections, but now universities like Indraprastha University and many other universities are also catering to students through their CLAT ranks. So CLAT has turned out to be a major examination that students have to focus upon for taking an admission in a law school. Now, how you prepare for CLAT it depends on people. So these days, what I've seen is that even if toddlers are studying in school, they need a push. They are studying tuitions. We never were studying tuition. It's right. So it depends. If somebody is not that sort of a person who needs a push, then they should probably go for a coaching in which they are spoon-fed all that is required to crack this exam. And of course, it gives you a great guidance. But I feel that if somebody can do it by their self-study methods, and somebody is sincere enough to crack the exam by self-study, then it is not as big a task that cannot be done by self-study. So there are so many books that come in the market which are very comprehensive. You study, you practice questions, and you can just go through this examination. So I've seen people who have prepared for 2 months for the examination. I've seen people who have prepared for a whole year also for this examination. So it depends on how much you are willing to give in how much time, what is your caliber, how have you assessed yourself. So that all is there. And then syllabus is English, that is general, which we know. Then general knowledge is there, which I feel that if people are continuously reading newspapers like the Indian Express, the Hindu, I think good newspapers are there these days. Everything is in our phone. We can read so many journals together, and you can keep yourself posted. So general knowledge is comes from there, and you can focus a little more on the legal aspects of it also, which are well covered by the Hindu. Then, talking about legal reasoning, that comes as a subject which is new, which we have not studied in school. Though now in school, I guess CBSE has introduced legal studies as a subject, which people can take additionally. So when in our school, I had also taken additional informatic practices, which nobody in my class had otherwise taken, but it was available and I took it. Similarly, legal studies is also something that you can opt for in school if you want to.
Okay.
Then legal reasoning is something that comes with practice. You understand what simple concepts are. In legal reasoning, the questions that come are of the basic law that pertains to contract, tort. Trespass is something that everybody has heard. We see that there are boards put up in front of houses that anybody who trespasses this property will be prosecuted. So now this is something which we all know already. So it is very general, but you still need to grasp the logic behind it that makes it legal reasoning. So you need to practice a little. Then quantitative aptitude is there as a subject to crack this exam. And I think, yeah, these are the major subjects that are there, which the questions to which are asked in this examination class. And it's easy to crack this exam. You just have to be determined. All I feel is that once you decide your career is going to be in a particular field, you give your best for that. If you have a wavering mind that I'm also preparing for CA, CFA, I'm preparing for so many other things, then you get diverted, and then some of the subjects still remain common in entrances. Some go different. So it all depends how determined you are for a particular subject that is different. So legal reasoning is there in class. You need to focus more on that, and I think you can get through.
Okay. तो कॉलेज एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है हमारी एजुकेशन में. So how did you decide that you want to, pursue law from Indraprastha University?
Yeah, so my thought process was a little different with a couple of my friends who opted for NLUs, because NLU is a brand. When you don't get a pre-placement offer, and if you're going for a job interview, you will considered over and above other people if you're from an NLU, because NLUs are a brand. They have better faculty and everything. But my point was that staying in Delhi, studying from IPU, which is also a state university, I can get exposure of interning at various places. I can intern more easily. So if, for instance, if I would have been NLU Jodhpur, and if I would have been looking for opportunities there, or I would have been just traveling here and there and such other things, I decided that Delhi is a hub of opportunities. You see, we have Supreme Court in Delhi. It is nowhere other. It is not there because it is Supreme Court of India. It is present in Delhi only. Similarly, there are so many law firms which are based in Delhi and not otherwise. And sometimes you can also do it with your college. My college was good enough to give me the permission that I was attending college also, and I was interning also. So studying in Delhi, I used to go to various law firms, lawyers who have trained me well post my college also. So if my college was getting over at 2-3, I used to go to their offices and start working. So those many opportunities I might not have got there, which is why I chose this as an option, because I knew that this is basic, that I knew that practical is a little different from what theoretical part is. So you need to learn the practical also.
Yeah.
So I polished those practical skills during my college law school only, because I was continuously interning for the whole tenure. That's why I chose it.
Right. Practical knowledge is actually way more important than the theoretical knowledge.
It is.
Yeah, so how should one decide that is one better off in litigation or in corporate or in-house or judiciary? How do you make that decision?
Yeah, I think one way could be that you, as a law student, intern with somebody who's in court litigation. You intern in a law firm, so you see what the law firm culture is. You intern in an in-house company, and you see what the in-house counsels are doing. because whatever these people are doing, they will delegate their work, and you'll understand what their work culture is. Similarly, for judiciary, there are other factors also, but you can always also intern with a judge. And while you intern with a judge, you understand what his responsibilities are. So sometimes being a lawyer, you can still not work, but a judge probably has to work. So it comes with a great responsibility, right? So there are so many other things you can assess what is the pressure in a law firm, and then so in law firms or in litigation also there are divisions. There are so many divisions. Like there is corporate law, there is IPR law, there is competition law, then there is dispute resolution. There are so many fields. So what interests you should not only be seen by the subject that you are studying, but you should also work in that particular field. Once you apply for an internship, if you go in a particular department, you'll see how actually IPR cases work, how you argue the matters, how you draft a particular thing, and then you see, is it actually interested? Are you interested in the subject matter in practical sense also, or was it the only theoretical part? So I guess the best thing is to intern more and more in various divisions of law to see what your interests are. And of course, so in litigation you do, and in-house you do. Then judiciary, everybody knows that it comes with you get power. It's a government job, so the perks of a government job are always there.
Right.
You don't have to worry about certain things. You have that social security. In-house counsels are like, they do the basic work for the companies, and further they engage the independent counsels to argue the matters in the courts. So they are only functioning for the company at a basic level. The work that is done in the court is majorly done by the independent counsels who are on the panel of such companies. But it is an easier job. I feel that you get free early. You probably do not have to do that much of hard work that the person who's going to represent is going to do. Probably litigation, I feel sky is the limit. Litigation is of course associated with risk. Like you see, due to this pandemic, people who are first generation lawyers have been hit because since the time first lockdown has been there, majorly only urgent matters are being put up in courts. So people have suffered. You get money when there are regular hearings going on, people are coming, clients are coming, court is regular. So litigation, and in litigation, you earn with time. If I give you a favorable order, you will refer me to 10 people. It will take time for me to bring favorable orders for those 10 people in order to them referring me to some 100 people. So it takes a lot of time for you to rise in litigation. But if you decide to be in litigation, then sky is the limit. In jobs, you are saturated. Law firm, you can become from an associate to a partner, right? In litigation, sky is the limit, I feel like. If somebody feels that by exploring they can do it, I guess best option is that.
Right. Now I would like to ask you, that tell us about your journey in detail.
So as I said that I started interning in various law firms, law offices, etc. And I started to explore my interests at first. Then on a serious note, I also started assessing the fact that where can I make my future in? So you see, there are so many civil and criminal lawyers in the courts. If a client is walking in, why will he choose you over others? If you have to make a name, it will take years for you to make a name. What I should do to bring an edge so that I have my own clientage and I can survive and I can do good. So I catered to a couple of laws which were new and evolving, in which law is not yet settled, in which law is settling. It is evolving. So I started working in RERA, that is Real Estate Regulatory Tribunal. The law came in 2016. The authorities, which is a quasi-judicial tribunal, came into existence in 2017. Not many people have been aware of these laws. So many senior lawyers approached me for advising them on matters. They said that I want you to be taking care of my matter because it's a new law. I really don't want to get into it because I have a full service law firm. I have many matters. I don't want to get into a new law, understand the law substantially and its procedural aspects and everything. Then I realized that yes, laws like insolvency, bankruptcy code, which are new, then arbitration is evolving, where young people can step in and make a mark, should be worked upon. And then I started trying to mark my expertise in this field of RERA. I started practicing in RERA Gurugram, then RERA Panchkula, RERA Noida, Lucknow, Bangalore. So I started expanding, and I feel that specialization is important. Now I am being called upon by all sorts of people for this particular area of law. People know me by this name that okay, if you have something related to Vera, you go to him.
Right.
That's what you get when you once you specialize. If I would have been doing a couple of matters in a particular subject matter, then a few, I think that stage has to come later. Initially, first you need to have a command over a particular subject matter that should be called your expertise, and that actually makes a difference for young people who are coming into litigation. So people who have a legacy, whose parents are into litigation, and they already have a clientage, they are assisting their own parents and everything, who are not first generation lawyers. It's not the same for them. But if I talk about first generation lawyers, I believe that they should focus more on expertise on a particular stream of law, which is new and evolving. So that's how that got me an edge. So whatever webinars you would have seen me talking about RERA and other things, so that edge came because of that expertise. I started reading, exploring, and everything I did for that particular subject matter before moving on to something else.
Yeah. It's good to explore the depths first.
Yeah.
So as a lawyer, what is your idea of success?
I think definition of success is different for everybody. It depends on what goals are we setting for ourselves. So I felt like I want to be on the panel of some companies which will make me have satisfaction that I have made a name enough for those companies to be coming to me to represent them in courts and everything. So you decide in your mind that this is what I really want in life. So those things might come to you early. If they come to you early, then I guess you think about, like, of course, moving ahead and higher. That now that I've achieved this, next is going to be this. But I guess there are some basic goals that we think about achieving, and then we feel that yes, okay, now I can say that I am success. But in law, I will say that continuous reading is a must. So if you want to be successful, you ought to keep on reading. The more you read, you have to be updated about uh, all the case laws that are coming. I remember in the very beginning when I was interning with one of the advocates, he asked me to keep on reading this Delhi Law Times that comes up that has all the important judgments. These days there is live law and bar and bench and whatnot to update us with what is happening in courts, what judgments are coming up, and with technological advancements, there is so much for us to read. We read what the language judges are writing. We read what made them assess in a particular manner. And as I said, that law is always evolving. Today, a decision comes that overturns something that there was present in the past. It is a new law. Not every law is made by the legislature by an enactment of an act. Law is evolving by the judgments that are coming, and you need to be updated. You need to keep yourself updated by those judgments. So I think if you talk about what is the mantra for success for anybody who's pursuing law, I guess you have to continuously keep on reading, be updated about the judgments and everything. That really helps you through it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, for a newcomer who's trying to make it big in the legal world, what is your message that how should they go about it?
I think we should feel that every stage of work that is given to us is important. I see many junior lawyers going to court and feeling that if they have been given some work of filing in a court, that's rubbish. They don't want to do it. They just directly they say that give us something to draft or give us the opportunity to argue. But I think everything starts from the very basic. You need to understand how filing is done. That is also important. If you do not know how to file things, how will you know? Basically, things have to be going step by step. Anything is not small to learn. Everything that you are learning is important. Everything that you are made to learn with a good senior or otherwise. And you have to be observant. Everything. So, I remember I used to sit in court even after my matter was done, if an interesting matter was going on, just to understand what is the legality of that particular matter. even when I was not practicing in that particular division, to understand it. So that's what I feel, that all the newcomers should spend more time in court listening to what the advocates are, because arguing is an art. You learn from your seniors how they are putting points forward. It is not just that if you are well aware of the facts and law. Argument is an art which evolves with time, and for that you should observe good advocates arguing in courts and grasp it, that how this person is arguing. Similarly, you should not feel anything is small or big. Every task assigned to you is important and big, and you should do that. And that's how you evolve. So, if I talk about my own RERA in Gurugram, it is hard to get a complaint filed. Many complaints get dismissed in default because they are filed wrongly. So if people are doing it in a hurry, even if they've done it for a couple of times, it is bad that the case is getting dismissed because of some lacuna in the filing process. So you need to work on everything. Then research is a very important thing that people need to work upon, because you see, it becomes very easy for us to convince the court if we put a precedent in front of them. What is a precedent? It's a case law with the similar facts that the courts have previously decided. So if I'm going through a case in Delhi, and if I give them a precedent of Delhi High Court or Supreme Court of India, it will have a persuasive value that, a court in similar facts have previously decided that. It will be helpful for you to convince the court, because they'll see, yes, okay, when the facts were similar, we decided in this particular fashion. So the same can go for your own case, because you show to them a pattern that this is how the wisdom and prudence of the honorable court has been used previously in this matter. So there are so many tools with like Manupatra and SEC online, where we can research. Now, researching also is an art. You have to excel in it. You have to have skills to cull out judgments that are relevant for your own case, because you might not just come up with cases that you seek immediately. The way you use keywords that are used in your case, or which would have been used in any other case for that matter previously, cannot be same. You have to keep on trying, and that's how you polish your skills for researching. So research is a very important thing that people should keep on doing, so they know how to come up with great precedents from the use of such softwares like Manupatra and SEC online. So apart from reading continuously, you should also polish your skills in terms of research. And of course, as I said, persistently keep on attending court proceedings and hearings. That will make you learn a lot.
Right.
And even let me tell you, when client meetings are there, so if a client has come to me and I'm counseling him, if he's putting to me questions and what is going to be my case after 6 months and year, and this is my problem, what possible solutions do you have? So that is also something that you learn, and it is important for all the junior advocates or the freshers to learn. If I am counseling a client, or if the client is putting queries to me, I am answering all those. How I am answering those, that is also very important for them to learn, that if a client walks to them tomorrow when they start their own career, how do they have to actually tackle with their clients? That's also a thing that you need to learn. So everything that you do is really important.
Right. I think you've summarized it very well. Thank you so much, Harshit. Thank you for doing this.
It's my pleasure, Deepshika. It's absolutely a pleasure, and I hope that it turns out to be helpful for people. And if anybody would want to get in touch with me, if they want me to be helping them for any internships they want, if they want to intern with me, if they want other advices, they can always email me. My email they might just find on net, or they can just approach you. So anything for people who are aspiring lawyers, I'll always be happy to help.
Yeah, I will put your email in the description also. And I think I learned a lot from this podcast. I didn't know so much about the law field. So thank you so much. Thank you for doing it.
Most welcome, Deepshika.